everyone, welcome to another video. My name is Teresa. I've been solo traveling on and off for the last 18 months. Currently recording this in Laos, where I am for a few more weeks, and then I'm heading back to India. I wanted to talk to you today about sort of some of the technicalities and go into a little bit more detail on a few key things that I had to think about when planning my trip. So for the first 12 months of my time away, I'm from the UK. I had 12 months where I travelled across Southeast Asia, the Indian subcontinent, and then Australia, and then back through Asia, back to London. And I didn't go back in between. I spent the whole time out. I spent some time on my own, quite a bit of time on my own, but also spent some time with some friends and joined some group trips. I remember when I was sitting in my room in a very grey February day, which I think it was, when I started to really plan my epic year, as I called it. In fact, I titled that on my spreadsheet, Teresa's Epic Adventure. I kind of knew and I talked about this before, there was lots of places that I wanted to visit, but I didn't have unlimited budget. And for me, the trip had been very much around this spiritual focus. So I have been focusing on places where I've been able to learn more about Buddhism, Hinduism, where I've been doing more yoga, but also seeing some friends. So my trip to Australia, for example, was to catch up with some friends, as well as experience the country that's the furthest away from me as a girl from England. But the big thing, I think, when I was looking at planning this, as well as looking at the finances of what the cost was in places, is the visas. And so I left in 2023, and I think even since then things have really opened up. It was still a little bit kind of post-COVID at that time, and a lot of places couldn't stay for that long, even if I wanted to. So when you are planning, the first thing to do is to have a look at what the visa situation is as a tourist. I'm quite lucky as a UK passport holder. I can stay some places for quite a while, and some places the same as everybody else, and maybe not too long. I would also advise you to look at official government websites. It's very easy to get down a bit of a rabbit hole of visa companies that will charge you a hell of a lot of money for a visa. So for me, because I'm from the UK, I look at the gov.uk website. I actually have travel alerts set up for the countries that I was visiting as well, in case the entry requirements changed, in case there was a natural disaster or something that perhaps I wasn't aware of. So you could consider doing that too, to be belts and braces with it. But I would look and I would see, and then I would work out from that whether I'd need to leave the country and come back, whether I could stay, what I was going to need to do. But even with the best planning in the world, things go a little bit wrong. So I just wanted to share two stories. I was planning to spend 2 months in Indonesia. I'd worked out the dates exactly. I thought I had. I land in Jakarta and they stamped my passport, but actually they only gave me 29 days instead of 30 days, which meant that the day that I was due to leave was a day over. And yes, I could have paid a fine, but I didn't want to risk being blacklisted or not allowed in the country in the future, because I love Indonesia and I'm planning to go back again. So I had to apply for an extension to my visa, which actually, luckily, in Indonesia was really easy because it was online. Sometimes it's not as easy as that. Recently, I have been, where I am now, I'm in Laos, and I had planned to come just before the end of the year, so just in time for New Year. Around, I think, the 27th of December, I had a flight booked, 26th, 27th of December. And then I had an accident in India and I fell over and I gashed open my knee and I had 4 stitches and swelling and very limited mobility. So I decided to delay my flight to the 1st of January. Now, why is this relevant? Well, because the rules changed. So I had originally planned to spend 6 weeks in Laos, because if I'd arrived before the 1st of January, I could have had a 60-day visa for the same price as a 30-day visa. But because I arrived and actually landed on the 2nd of January, which is basically the first day that I could come after the stitches were out, it meant I only got a 30-day visa, and then I had to go and pay to have the extra 2 weeks or so at the local immigration office. So that involved me working out, was I staying in a big enough place that had a local immigration office? What's the procedure? What do you have to do? Sometimes it's not that clear. I had a really not great experience on Copenhagen at the immigration office there, where I was basically waiting outside for 5 hours. I kind of followed the rules, but they're really strict about various things, and there's a lot of people renewing visas. I thought my visa extension in actually in Luang Prabang might be similar, but it was a breeze. I'm pleased to report it was really easy. I did have to do my passport overnight, but I walked in there, paid my money, said how many days I was staying extra, showed where I was going, and then came back the next day and picked up my passport. So just to say, if you are planning a trip and you're going to do an extension, just make sure you know where you can get your extensions, because sometimes you have to go to the capital city or big cities to be able to extend your visa, and that can be costly if you're a long way away, and timely as well if you've got to go to, I don't know, say for example for me I'd have to go to Vientiane, which is the capital, which yes, I can go down by train, but I would have needed to stay overnight, at least one night, because of leaving the passport, and I didn't really want to spend any more time in Vientiane. So bear that in mind with the visas. Also, just, I suppose there's other things and considerations like around passports. Basically, I'm sorry if this is all very basic and you're aware of this, but I'm just talking about my experiences. I slightly panicked before I left. I didn't have enough pages on my passport, although I had still quite a long time left on my passport. So I decided to go and get a new passport. But unfortunately, the time that I was renewing my passport, which I think was around May time 2023, I had to do it then because I'd got an overseas trip before, and then I needed my passport for something else. So it was my only window of opportunity. The passport office were on strike, which caused me quite a lot of stress trying to work out how the hell I was going to get a passport. I ended up getting a train up to Peterborough. I live down in the south of England. That's kind of like a 3-hour journey kind of thing from where I live, not that easy. And it was a logistical exercise because I was trying to get Bangladeshi visas through an agent in London, and I had to give them my passport in a certain time to do all of that. So yeah, give yourself enough time. So if you do need a more complicated visa, like the Bangladeshi visa, for example, you have to go to the embassy I had to go to the embassy in London or get an agent to do it on my behalf. Unfortunately, I had a bit of a bad experience with the agent and they were delayed. And in the end, I had to cancel my original flight and delay my entire departure from the UK. At this point, I didn't have anywhere to live because I was renting my house out. Luckily, I have some amazing friends that put me up for those last sort of 4 or 5 days while I was waiting to get my passport back. So it wasn't the most auspicious start to my year of travel. So I do have a bit of a relationship with visas and passports, and it did provide me with a lot of anxious moments, the timing of everything. So just, yeah, don't leave it to the last minute to think about all of that, but also don't worry too much about it, because actually when you're there, it's usually is much more straightforward than you think it's going to be. The other thing with planning is a few other things I just wanted to talk about with the visas is also just make sure for some countries they won't let you board a flight, or some airlines won't let you board a flight unless you've got proof of onward travel. So if that's the case, you can Google that and have a look at what your options are, whether you need to book a cheap bus out of the country, or if you know your plans, you can book a flight out. But just be aware, if you're going into a country with no exit out, you may be denied boarding and you may be asked about it at immigration. So just be prepared for that. I was going to talk about a few other things, but I think that's enough for now. I'll come back to some of my other considerations, and let's leave this one on the visas. But before we finish, because we've talked about something that actually for me has caused quite a lot of stress and anxiety, I would like to encourage us all to just spend a few minutes together actually bringing to mind why we want to travel, why we do this, and why we put ourselves out there to go out of our comfort zones. I'm just going to lead you through a really short visualization on that. So if you are not interested in that, thank you for joining me. Please like, share and subscribe. If you'd like to stay for the visualization, it will be a few minutes, although maybe a little bit longer. Let's see what happens. And bring yourself into a comfortable seat. You don't have to sit on the floor, you can sit on a chair like I am. Maybe close the eyes. Feel the feet grounding into the earth. And just start to slow that breath down. Start to bring the attention to the breath through the nostrils. We breathe in and out through the nostrils. Slow, slow inhale. Slow, mindful exhale. Inhaling. And exhaling. On your next inhale, just take a little pause at the top of the breath, just to what feels comfortable for you, and then release with a sigh out through the mouth. So we inhale through the nose. We pause at the top of the inhale, and then we sigh out through the mouth. And you can be as loud as you want to be. Inhale through the nose. Exhale out through the mouth. And then just start to bring your awareness back into this moment, this present moment. There's no need for us to be worrying about the logistics of our travel right now. Just going to guide you on a journey where we can experience the excitement of travel without all that boring stuff, the logistical stuff that we have to encounter. But to start with, we start here where we are in this present moment. We're safe and secure in this present moment. Feel your feet on the floor, feel the breath in the body. And then I'd like to invite you to imagine that you're at the airport, you've boarded your flight, everything is going great, it's been easy, no stress, and you're about to land your new destination. You land safely, take a moment of gratitude that you've landed and all is well. You pick up your bags, you go through immigration, again, no big queues, no stress, easy peasy. And you walk out, meet your transport, get a taxi, and you get to where you're starting your trip. And you arrive somewhere new, exciting. Maybe you're confronted with a different language, people looking a little different. Maybe you're confronted with sights, sounds, smells. Whatever it is, feel that excitement in you as you know that you're going on this epic adventure. Enjoy the feeling of that excitement. There's no need to worry. You're safe and secure. You're being guided. You're being supported as you take this step out of your comfort zone, as you take this step into the unknown. And then maybe after a little while you travel to the place that you're going to spend a bit of time. Maybe it's a beach, maybe it's a mountain, maybe you're at some amazing temple, maybe you're horse riding, whatever is your thing, whatever lights you up. Imagine yourself there right now. What does it feel like to be there? What does it feel like to be in this new environment? What does it feel like to perhaps have the sun on your face, the joy of fresh fruits, beautiful scenery, kind people? Just take a moment to feel that joy, that gratitude that you're at this amazing place and you are having the opportunity to have this amazing experience. Take 2 more breaths here. And then bring yourself back to this present moment. Bring yourself back to having the feet on the floor, hands on the thighs. Deepen the breath, maybe sigh again. Just acknowledge how that felt in the body. And when you're ready, you can slowly open the eyes. And just remember, you can come back to this practice anytime you feel a little bit overwhelmed by the logistics, anytime you think it's all too much hassle. It is worth it. It's worth all of that planning. And the more you can, I think, prepare, the more, for somebody like me that's a bit of an anxious traveller, the more I'm prepared, the more I can relax and know that I've got things. And yes, things will go wrong, things will change as I go, but that's fine. I can adapt and flow with that. And that's what you learn to do when you solo travel. You learn to flow with what's given to you. And that's such a blessing for me in my everyday life as well, because that's not how I have lived in the past, and that's how I'm choosing to live as much as I can going forward. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Please do tell me your visa stories if you'd like to share below. I'd love to hear from you. Do like, share, subscribe, tell your friends. If you've got any friends that are traveling that want a little bit of advice on any of this, please do pass on the video details, and I shall see you next time. But in the meantime, safe travels, fun travels, and enjoy the journey.